Podcast gonna get a name soon. First episode, let's get it.
Yo, welcome to the podcast. My name is LJ Jones.
And I'm Gas Marley, aka Young One Jonah, aka I can't think of nothing.
AKA. Yeah.
That works.
all the formerly knowns coming out. What was your
Yeah.
first rapper name?
Ooh, when I used to be a rapper.
When you used to be, you're retired now. But because now it's Gas Marley. Okay,
Yeah.
it's Gas Marley for the comedy, for everything, really.
It's the moniker.
But you were Young One Jonah, and before that, you made a real interesting change because before Young One Jonah, you were just Young Jonah, and then before that,
Yeah.
you was what?
Before that, I was Jonah, and then before that, I was YJ. Then I was Young Jonah, and then before that, when I very first started, before the ones and the spaces, I was Tragedy, man. I had a horrible rap name, bro. I was very violent rapper when I first started, bro. Yeah.
That's funny. I'm trying
the dog.
to think,
You fed the dogs, man. I hear the dogs in the background.
The dogs are. I should have put them out. Put them in.
Your Chihuahua sound like a pit.
Chihuahua. That's it. Yeah, that is a black lab.
Oh, I thought you had a lap dog. I thought you had a Yorkie.
No, I do. Nah, see, I got Shih Tzu. I got Shih Tzu and a Lab Retriever.
That was the Shih Tzu barking like a goddamn Great Dane.
What was J. Cole's first rap name? That just came out. It was something similar to Tragedy, wasn't it?
I think so. I saw some shit like that too recently. Yeah, I saw it floating around. I don't know, if it's valid or not, but
my first rap name was it's terrible. It was J Rebel.
It's a lot of J, what you call it, what I'm saying, out here. I think that's normal. That's hip hop. J something. Yeah. It's hip hop. It's hip hop.
Yeah. No electronica, but Rebel.
Great rapper. Yeah, I mean we definitely gotta talk about some stuff, man, because we've been talking about doing a pod for a minute and we here. Yep. And on this pod,
let me interrupt. Not only have we been talking about it, but the people have been asking for it.
Well, yeah, of course. You know how I feel about people ask for shit. I kind of like drag it out. Like, oh, yeah, that's what you want? Well, shit, let me drag my feet on
that. Yeah, well, but that's the thing is like we've been working together for a decade, almost a decade. Is like people. I'm not gonna say people associate us as a duo, but we have that, right? Like we've done movies together, we've done music, we've been on the road,
there's
comedy together,
familiarity going on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think this will be great. Great way to start the year off. And I gotta say, man, I don't know. I was expecting a peaceful start to 2024, and that's not what we got.
Why would you expect that? Like, what the fuck? Have you seen how 2023 went? Have you seen from 2020 on how things have been going?
Man, it's been a shit show over the last couple of years. I don't know, just something was in the air. I was like, we're seeking peace. Everybody's maturing in 2024, and then straight out the gate, Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay, he just blew it all up.
My boy went nuclear. How do you say it? Nuclear. He went nuclear.
Yeah, and I loved every second of it.
I'm telling you, bro. I couldn't be prouder as someone who liked to stir pots and etc.
So you like to stir the pot and then get out the way. Yeah, you like to watch it.
Yeah, I like the interaction. I want to see, what I'm saying, the conversations that spawned off of what happens. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to me, man. He went in on some people, man. He did. Look, you got to take everything that happens with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? So you can't believe everything everybody says. But he got his shit off on how he feel about a number of people and said a number of things, and even touched on some what some would call conspiracies, what a lot of Black people would call the truth about emasculating men, putting them in dresses. Like he touched on a lot of shit, bro. A lot of shit, bro.
He did. And
what was most interesting to you?
all of it. How could how could it be anything less? All of it was
Right.
interesting. Like
Right.
just Shannon Sharp, he even said, like, I wish I was recording the second he walked in because he was already going. He said I
Yeah.
knew what it was gonna be as soon as he
Early.
walked through those doors. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, I mean, with Katt Williams, he's always gonna be funny. He's always gonna I'm gonna verbalize it this way. He's always gonna share his truth. And a
Yeah.
lot of what he said coming out, like, he has receipts. Not only does he have receipts, the internet has receipts too. So a
Right.
lot of what he's saying is true. Some stuff, you can kind of take it or leave it, but the majority of the shit he's saying is obviously true. Like from the Cedric the Entertainer thing. Like, we have those clips from what was it, 98, whatever, when Katt
Mhm.
Williams was doing those jokes, then down to Kings of Comedy. We have the clips of hanging with Mr. Cooper and then the Steve Harvey show. We have all of those things. So those things are abundantly clear.
Yeah.
And the 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 responses from the people that Katt attacked have been there. It's like they're trying to make him out to be crazy, as if we don't see the receipts.
Yeah. Yeah. We not in the
Why is
age
that?
of we not in the age of uh if I say it didn't happen, it didn't happen. No, we're in the age of CCTV. We're in the age of social media.
Yeah,
We just saw Jonathan Majors run 5 blocks. You know what I'm saying? We Everything's caught on camera, bro. Like,
yeah.
so
That's a
people
good thing and a bad thing.
is a great thing for some things. We go on YouTube and we can watch comedy sets from years. Go watch Red Fox, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's clear that certain things happen, or if it's not a blatant steal, it is inspired by.
Right.
As far as we was talking about Cedric Entertainer, it's clear. I mean, the spaceship, the car, the whole gimmick. It was you can say it's petty theft, or you can say is inspired by. But either way, he didn't say that, so I can understand the frustration Katt would have about that, and especially if they squashed it 10 years ago and it still ain't, still
Yeah.
denying it, still ain't taking
Well,
accountability. I can understand why one would snap.
that was the big thing for me. Like Katt Williams said, like, they squashed it 10 years ago. So if I'm Cedric the Entertainer, if I'm Steve Harvey or whoever it may be, and I'm sitting on the couch like a walrus or whatever Katt Williams said, um,
Hilarious.
and Shannon Sharp asks about it. If I'm them, I'm just saying, hey, you know what? That's water under the bridge. That's some old shit. Like, we don't need to bring it back, back to the forefront, right? Like,
Right,
that's
right.
that's the media trained LJ Jones. Um, and especially if you I've never met Katt Williams personally, never been in a room with him, never shook his hand. I'd love to work with him. But as a fan, I know if somebody's gonna speak on your name in the way that Cedric did in that interview, Katt Williams is gonna have some shit to say when the time is right. He's not the type. He doesn't have Twitter fingers. He's not gonna explode right away. He knows what he knows, and he knows how to share it. So when he's on a platform like Club Shay Shay,
Yeah.
he's ready to get into it.
Drop bombs, if you will.
What was the funniest moment of that interview for you?
uh it is unlike you to have such an allegiance to losers.
That has became
Yikes.
such that has became such a meme. Like,
That was
so
like the
quick.
polite way of saying, this is your man's. Like, this is you rocking with these. You rocking with these cats right here. All right. Them your mans. Okay. Okay.
It sounded like some shit Ti would say.
Hey, although Cat might be the evolved form, his is so calculated. It was so many little. It's the nuances for me that made
Yeah.
me. Yeah. It don't matter how much liquor most. The people who saying about the liquor thing, obviously never drunk or had a binge, a liquor binge. You know what I'm saying, or never had a
Yeah,
college
yeah.
experience. He
But
wasn't
it's not
sloppy,
like
bro.
he like,
He wasn't sloppy, bro.
there's even so, I know there's editing. He wasn't throwing them back like that.
I don't
Shannon
know.
was
I can't
drinking a
confirm and
lot quicker
deny.
than Cat. Right,
Only thing I know is from his body. When you drunk, when you just,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You don't
yeah,
have full control like that all the time. You can play it cool, but it's certain
right.
signs that you just can't. He wasn't fumbling too many words. It wasn't a lot of stuttering
Oh,
going on. It was clear and concise to me. He had a
yeah,
mission. My boy had a hit list, and he checked every box.
absolutely.
He knew what he was doing.
What did you think about the Kevin Hart is an industry plant comment? Because that's one of those things that is there receipts for that?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Uh, the correlation of what he was saying about the East Coast, West Coast start, and the contradictions from after seeing the doc with him and Chris Rock. I get where you're coming from on that front. But Plant is a little harsh. I feel like that man worked hard for everything he got. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's a question of work. I don't think it's a question of the grind at all, but more so some people are more business savvy than others. Some people have better relationships with the right people at the right time than others. And some people capitalize on opportunities better than others. And it takes them to a different place. And, that's when you get into the realm of being accused of selling out and things of that nature. But it's all the agenda you come in with. And I think Kev had a clear agenda where he was trying to go. He wasn't trying to live in that one space, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he's wrong for that. But I don't think, who gives a fuck, really?
But I mean, there's always been a ladder to climb. Like from whatever way your entry is into entertainment, if acting or movies is where you want to get, there's been a ladder to climb, right? Like for me, as say just an actor, the ladder to climb, at least back in the day, was all right, let's do some commercials, and then from commercials we go to guesting on some TV shows and starring in a TV show, and then we move up to movies, right? And now for comics, it was you hitting the stage, you're getting tight, and then maybe you get on Letterman or whatever talk show, and then you go, all right, now I'm getting the sitcom, and then we can go to the movies, right? Like that has been the trajectory that you have to do. And you and I are in the comedy circles at this point. There's a clear distinction between I don't want to say somebody with a work ethic, but maybe they're a little more business savvy, right? They'll come into the comedy club. They'll come into the comedy club. They'll communicate with the other comics. They'll have conversations. They'll build a rapport, maybe even build a friendship, or whatever the case may be. They'll build relationships with the club owners, things like that.
They know how to
And
play the
then you
power
got
game.
comics. Yeah, and then you got comics that'll come in, they'll do their five, if it's an open mic, or they'll do their set, they'll guest for another comic, and then they get up out of there. Nah, see, like for us, when we get in, we're talking to the other comics, we're talking to the club owners, we're talking to the audience after a show, and you definitely be talking to the audience. I remember that one in at St. Pete Beach.
Don't do that.
Tell
Don't
them,
do that.
tell them.
I ain't telling them shit. Hey man, don't touch me. Ladies, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
If you see Gas Marley at a show, don't touch him.
I'm calling harassment. I'm hitting up everybody part of the Me Too movement. You touch me.
Yeah.
Ladies, I don't care if you think I'm cute, ugly, or whatever. Don't touch me. I'm not here for you, bitch. Excuse me. That's all I got to say about that. I just went for it. Anyway.
What else?
Yeah, you
was
got to
there,
play the
man?
power game, though. You got to play the
got
power
to.
game. And that's why I say his business savvy. That's, knowing people, networking, and being in the right rooms, taking some risk. It can take your places. Plant is a strong word, but I get where you're coming from. You got people who, work hard at their crafts to become the best at their crafts. The best isn't always high. It's a debate that Stephen A. and Max Kellerman used to have on First Take. that now people seem to push under the rug and roll with it when they were calling Max crazy. There's a difference between great and best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this spawned off obviously the Michael Jordan versus LeBron debate,
Right.
the Prince versus Michael. You know, that kind of greatness is your achievements and the accolades you accumulated, right? But does that make you the best? You played the game right. You achieved some things. You turned some heads. You got to the masses. You know, you capitalized. But are you the best at what you do? So that difference splinters them right there.
Sure.
Katt leaps and bounds better as a comic, like as just funny, just straight line funny, in my opinion.
But that's what I was going to say. Isn't that subjective as well?
It's all of it. All of it.
You can
Is the
obviously
name of
look
the
at
game? Is the name of the game? How broad can you make your audience? Is the name of the game? Can you make your audience laugh?
yeah, and you can talk to any touring comedian, and they'll tell you that when you're touring, you have a different audience. Like let me say, like when you're touring comedy clubs, right? When you're going into these little cities or towns that you don't know or whatever, you have a different audience. So some jokes that I can tell here in Tampa, I might not be able to tell in Dallas, Texas. You know what I mean? Or Tyler, Texas. Like there's
Got to read
different
the room.
audiences.
Yeah. You got to read the room. But that difference right there shows me, where they at. You know, saying so one can't say, "Oh, Katt's mad about not being where Kevin is," or vice versa.
I think Katt's where he wants to be.
I think he's exactly where he wants to be, and he want. You remember when Kendrick dropped the Control verse?
Yeah.
On a Big Sean joint, and he called out everybody. And I noticed Katt kept talking about being a competitor and shit. Man, he bring that fight back, bring that bark back to the comedy game. You know what I mean? It feels like the comedy game has been watered down and then emasculated a little bit. I'm not talking about across the board and it's all trash because there's some geniuses doing their thing, young and old. I'm just saying that I remember how raw it was at one point. It's obviously society's changed, et cetera, et cetera. But let's not take the competitive spirit away. And I got that sense from watching the interview as well. And I think that's a good thing, just like it's good for any sport. You know what I mean?
There's a lot that I loved about the interview. There's a lot. I'm not even a lot. I loved most of it. There was a couple things that I had to be like, all right, well, we don't know whether or not that's true. Like when he was talking about, Chris Tucker, going to Epstein's Island, that's an accusation that carries a lot of weight to it that can ruin lives. Like, I mean, the flight logs are out. We could take a look at them. But I think you and I were having a conversation about it the other day. We don't know that every entertainer that was on that list from across the board, was there
we don't know what they was doing.
Yeah, so
we don't know what they were doing.
And I think maybe depending on who was hearing what Katt Williams was saying, might have taken it a different way. But now you have Katt Williams did not say that Chris Tucker was engaging in the illicit activities that were happening on that island. He did not say that, but people
just put him in the same
taking that. They're taking it and they're running with it, and they're saying, "Oh, Chris Tucker's out here, doing these illicit things," and that we don't know that. So these are some accusations that can ruin lives, right? And now, if people are, taking or doing these things, let's just say what it is. If people are participating in pedophilia, put them under the jail. But let's just not throw that out there and ruin somebody's life that we have no idea what they're doing on that island. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get that far. I don't think
So either.
I don't even think it was honestly, I don't even think it was an issue. Like all the logs out. It's public. So whatever.
It's 3,000 pages. So the majority of people are not going to go through that. So they're going to take whatever they're hearing from media, whether that's this or the Fox News or CNN or whatever podcast it is that they're listening to.
They're going to take whatever for face value, and that's their fault. And that's why we're in this position where people take stuff for face value. Because let me share your secret. People are stupid.
So now that we're on this, what is one of our goals of the podcast? Why don't you tell the people?
Motherfucking informed opinions, but like not expert opinions in every field that we talk about, but opinions on things with background knowledge, with context, through an unbiased lens, showing both sides of things. You know what I
Right.
mean? Sprinkle a little fun on that shit, and take some things that's possibly serious and chop it down and make it a little more light, make it a little more palatable. You know what I'm saying? That's some of the goals of the pod, man. Have some really thought provoking conversation.
Absolutely. And with that being said, let's go to this thought provoking part of the conversation. One of the things Katt Williams said that has sparked a lot of conversation is the topic of, you know, black performers putting on a dress
Man,
and
this is an
how
age old thing, bro.
it's an age old thing. People have
Age
been
old
having this
thing.
conversation and debate for years. So, what is your personal Gas Marley? What is your opinion on that?
I'm with Katt and them boys. I don't fuck with it. There would be no time if my acting career was to take off today. There's no way you get me in a dress. You can get me in a jail cell before you can get me in a dress. Jail ain't gonna be hard. I got dreads. I'm big and black. Easy. I'm halfway there. So I'm not with it. I don't. We had a conversation where we was talking about like gay actors and stuff. I'm all for hiring gay actors. Why would I play a gay role when there's a gay actor right there?
Sure. Yeah. It's all about inclusion.
You know what I mean? So same thing. You want an old uh potty mouth ass grandma, Tyler Perry? Get a potty mouth ass grandma. I know a lot of them. I came from the hood. I seen a lot of that shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, it'd be the church on Sunday in front row, right in front of the pew, fan in her hand, blanket over her lap. Oh, child. You see him. You know what I'm saying? So I can't fuck with it, man. And I do think it's demasculating. I don't think.
Now, do you think a big part of the conversation is that people seem to think, and I'm not saying it's accurate or not accurate, a lot of people say that in order for a black performer to hit that trajectory to go up to be on the top, they have to put on that dress. Do you think that there's validity to that?
At one time, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think I think it still happens, but I don't think it's the case. Like that's before the internet boom and before all these avenues were birthed, you had to go directly to the source for a lot of different shit, right? You had to go
sure.
straight to the labels for music. You had to go straight to the studios for movies. Um, you had to find a way to get in there, and those come with gatekeepers. Those come with fuck, you know what I'm saying? Fuck shit. Uh, um, and I believe it's too many stories to not believe. Even
Yeah.
personal close friends who've been offered things to do things.
Mhm.
Um, and we all know this happens. We all know.
Sure.
So, I do feel like there was a time period where the agenda was a little more blatant in that regard of demasculating black men and emasculating us and putting on dresses to get the bread. I liken it to the narrow-minded focus of rapper go to the league. Is that all for black people to get ahead? I have to bust my ass, and slave for all these coaches and grind to get to where I need to, you know what I'm saying, get
Right.
out of my circumstances, to get these M's, etc. Uh and I do have to become a rapper to become relevant enough to get some money to get my family out of this hood? Is these the only options for us? And as an actor, do I have to put on this dress for real and act the fucking fool in order to get some attention? We banging on pots and pans the wrong way. So I never been a fan of that, and it's always been an issue in the community, and it's real.
Now, I've heard people trying to play devil's advocate to that conversation, and they'll say something like, "The Wayans brothers, they wrote White Chicks. That was
Mhm.
their decision. They played that. That was on them. And care to respond to that?
Yeah, I believe two things can be true.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of duality. I'm a big fan of nuance. And I do believe this. All things, there's a push from somewhere and somebody in the world to normalize
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? And uh I think the Wayans family, first of all, comedy royalty, black royalty, um, in my opinion. And I think they do a lot of things for the laugh, for the sake of the laugh, for real, like out of their heart. Not trying to, I'm gonna do this one time, it's gonna be super funny, it's gonna be me doing it, and trying to justify why most people will put on a dress or, do that kind of thing. I think Marlon has always been a physical comic, you know what I'm saying? Like his body language and everything is top tier, and him in the dress, going above and beyond, you know what I'm saying, in that role, uh is somewhat to become expected from him. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't throw me for no loop in no kind of way. It just is
Yeah.
funny. But
Yeah.
I do still feel like, for the young boy that looks up to that, you know what I'm saying? What if it was in my position, coming from where I'm coming from, and he say, oh man, I can't wait till I can go do that. Like, is that what we really want to inspire them to do? So I'm not saying nobody can ever do that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see the purpose. Like, I don't. It's funny. It was funny at the time period. It's less funny now.
Oh, it's overdone now.
Is you feel me? But
The other argument that I keep hearing people make, and it really aggravates me because I feel like anybody that makes this argument is just missing the point of the actual debate. And that's, I've heard, and it's coming from a lot of white people saying, oh, well, why is it an issue? You got Tom Hanks wearing a dress and Bosom Buddies, Dustin Hoffman and Tootsie, Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire, and it's the same thing. So what's the difference?
let me
There's a
tell you the
difference.
difference. It's a huge difference. It's a cultural difference.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, those white characters um represent a small percentage of the majority,
Right.
and out of the total piece of the pie, we make up a 14% piece of it.
Yeah.
And the only ones that can be successful is the ones who put on the dress for us. See, for every Robin Williams, there's a Brad Pitt and a Leonardo. You know what I'm saying? DiCaprio. Uh, how we don't have the same contrast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to get to a certain place and elevate to a certain place, for people that look like me, they had to do other certain things.
Yeah.
That we look back on and be like, thank God they kicked down the door and paved the way. But look at this fuck shit you made them do. You ain't about to get me like this. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because kids need to see me, see a version of them doing something great, being that lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Cosby Show was great for that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of representation rather than some fuck shit.
I feel like people love to miss the point. They don't care to be educated. They don't care to be
Nah,
open minded. They don't care to have the conversation. Is just, what I think is what I think, and that's just what it's going to be. And that, I mean, that goes to another deep conversation. Is just like I think the whole point of getting older and growing, or the point of growing older is to grow, right? to
yeah.
to to be open-minded, to learn things, to explore things. Because I'm 27 years old. I shouldn't be the same person I was when I was 20. And that's people form their opinions like dead on 16 to 21. And I know so many 50, 60 year olds that they still think the exact same way as when they were 20. And it's just, I don't think that's a way to live, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
Where are we with Katt Williams? Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Nah, we good on Cat, man. He bodied that interview, man. That shit was WWE. You know what I'm saying? That shit was highly entertaining, man. And enlightening.
That'll go. That's got to go down in history as like one of the most electric, best one-on-one interviews ever.
Bro, when he stood up and he said, he was talking about Cedric, And he was like, "I'll bust your stomach." Bruh, I almost puked on myself, man. Laughing so hard, dog. Like, you think when somebody say something like, "Bitch, I hit your ass," I'll do what, whatever. He said, "I'll bust your stomach, bro." Dog, bro, this is hilarious, bro.
Now, I do have a question. Now, you saw the news. I think we all saw the news of Katt Williams' tour. So I need to know if it's petty or not.
Oh, you talking about okay, so Tory Hart going on tour with Katt.
Tory Hart, Kevin Hart's ex-wife, has been announced to be going on tour with Katt Williams.
Have they toured before? I don't know.
I have no idea. I did not know Tory Hart was a comedian.
You did? Oh, you didn't know that?
Is she funny? See, I'm asking that because Katt Williams said that the only people he brings on tour with him are comics that are funnier than him.
Yeah. So it's either that or it's chestnut checkers, motherfucker. this is insult to injury. This is salt on the wound. This is gotcha, bitch. He's shooting, man. He's shooting, bro. This shit funny as fuck, bro. I like it.
I'm just saying,
WWE, man.
She gonna be at the Tampa show, so I kind of want to put out that extra money and go see it.
That was my thought as well. I was like, bro, I kind of want to go. This the petty motherfucker in me. I want to see that shit.
What do you think Kevin Hart's reaction will be? We won't know it publicly, but in private, what do you think his reaction is?
Laughing his ass off.
Yeah, because I think Kevin Hart appreciates the petty.
A part of him does, I'm sure. Another part of the corporate side, the corporate side is like, why I got to even deal with this? Like, you don't want to. Come on, bro. Like, come on. Oh, y'all, this is what you're doing, But the comedian in is like, that's okay.
That's funny.
That's funny. I see what you did
there. Yeah, let's transition. The Golden Globes are this past weekend.
Who?
Come on now, you're an actor. Golden Globes were this past weekend. And Joe Coy, hilarious comedian, was the host of the Golden Globes. Now he got the job 10 days before the Golden Globes. Now I have some clips I want to show you, but I did 10 days. 10 days to prepare. Christmas was right here. New Year's Eve was, a couple of days ago.
Right.
10 days to prepare. Is that enough to prepare for an award show as massive as the Golden Globes when you're filled with Hollywood's greatest and latest and dated, all of them, when they're all right there in front of you and you got however, millions of people watching from home? Is 10 days enough to prepare a good show? Because you have the monologue, you have the jokes in between the presentations, you have all of that. That is a big weight to carry. It's 10 days enough.
For something like that, you need two things to happen. Mm-hmm. This is how my mind works. You need two things to happen. You need all the resources in the world. I think that box is checked, right? Will we agree that box is checked? It got all the resources.
He had a writer's room, had whatever he needed.
Second, you need to just not be doing anything. You got to have a clear schedule because if you got 10 days, you got to move at breakneck speeds to make everything pristine. That's how my mind works. If I got this gig and I got 10 days to do it, something of this magnitude, this scale, I got to bust my ass to make sure it's where I think it need to be, is where pleasing to the partners, etc. And I need to be funny. So I need everything blocked out. You know what I mean?
And you cannot be a yes man. So if a writer presents you with the joke, you cannot just be like, I'm too busy, I'm too stressed. And I'm not saying that's what Joe Coy did, but I'm saying if you receive a joke and you read it and you're like, it's not funny, or maybe you could be like, oh, it's almost there, let's work on it a little bit. You can't just say, all right, yeah, that's fine, you wrote it, I trust you, let's leave it what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have to
gotta be hands on.
He didn't want to go in there and bomb, and maybe he didn't. A lot of people are saying that he did bomb, but 10 days is not a lot of time to prepare.
That's why I say two things got to happen. You got to have all the resources in the world to pull up something amazing, and you got to have nothing but time on your hand.
Right. Now, you haven't seen any of it.
No, I haven't.
I got a clip I would love to show you and just get your genuine reaction.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the 81st Annual Golden Globes. I'm your host, Joe Coy. I loved Oppenheimer. I just got one complaint. Needed another hour. I felt like it needed some more backstory. Oppenheimer answered a lifelong question that's been on my mind for years. Yes, scientists do get laid. As long as they look like Cillian Murphy. I watched Barbie. I loved it. I really did love it. I don't want you guys to think that I'm a creep, but it was kind of weird being attracted to a plastic doll. It's just something about your eyes. Killers of the Flower Moon is so great. Killers of the Flower Moon, the cast is here. The one thing I learned about that movie is that white people stole everything. You guys stole everything. Not like 97%. You guys stole 100% of everything. You took the land, you took the oil, you took the premise of the movie. What, that was your premise? That's hilarious, I don't care. It's just that the room is really white. I watched Saltburn. Is Barry Keoghan here? Where's Barry Keoghan seated? Where? Oh, right there. Where's your penis seated? Down front? That was the real star of the show.
Yikes.
Hey, you were laughing. Were you laughing because it was funny or laughing because it was maybe not working?
I find awkward tension hilarious.
Yeah, so do I. That's why we love The Office. Practical Jokers.
Not The Office for me.
Not Practical Jokers, you.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that awkwardness I find hilarious, bro. Like in real time. That's why I don't like The Office. I like it in real time.
Yeah.
Unscripted. But bro, I don't think he did a bad job.
That's like everyone, like all the outlets are saying Joe Coy bomb, Joe Coy this. I was like, it wasn't that bad.
According to these clips, that was. Did you think that was bad? A bad set?
I thought they were easy. Some of them were easy jokes, but when you're in that situation, you're hosting the Golden Globes. You can't. Hit him with a 1-2 punch. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be just kind of straightforward. So it's got to be quick. You're on the time limit. I think it was fine. I do have another clip I can show you.
Some I wrote, some other people wrote. Robert De Niro's here. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right? Slow down. I wrote some of these, and they're the ones you're laughing at. Look.
Yikes. Yikes.
For me, one of my biggest things when I'm doing comedy is don't call out the jokes that didn't work. Don't bring more attention to it. Don't bring more attention to it. If it's not working, move the fuck on. Move the fuck on. Make it work. Make something else work. That didn't work. Keep going. How many times are we at an open mic or at a show in period and a joke doesn't land and then they're like, all right, hold up, let's run it back because y'all didn't get that. No, we got it. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny the first time. I hate when comics do that, when I'm participating in comedy nights and I see people do that very thing. I cringe. I do. I shudder.
I thought you liked to cringe.
No, that's not a good, that's not good, awkward comedy. They didn't capitalize it and make it, you can do things without saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What you're doing. If it's bad, you can take that opportunity to get a little physical comedy off. You know what I'm saying? Give a facial expression like, well, you know what I'm saying? But don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on the shit.
Don't what are you getting out of saying? What are you getting out of saying, I got the job 10 days ago? Are you getting
sympathy, I guess?
Sympathy?
Not from me, but
not I don't think from anybody.
You took the gig. Because if you take the gig, whether you got 10 days or 30, you took the gig.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, that's the thing is like, you look at the faces in that crowd. Wasn't nobody giving him sympathy. We've been going a lot longer than we planned on going.
Yeah.
But you know what? Give him a good start to the pod.
Yeah, why not?
Let's talk
these won't
about
normally be this long.
nah, and unless I can convince him, because I think longer form is a little better. But you know, that's
I agree.
let's talk about Jonathan Majors, man. He sat down with Good Morning America yesterday, and you saw the clips. I saw the clips. You know, I think this is it's a heavy conversation to have. You're laughing. I'm like, man,
it can be heavy.
Gosh. It can be heavy. And I think it depends on the situation, but within this situation, we saw the footage. We've heard the audio, the leaked audio. So let's talk about it. Jonathan Majors last March was embattled. What's the right word there?
They both work.
He was in multiple things. He was caught. I don't even want to say caught because he didn't, he was found fleeing the scene with a white woman chasing him. And
hilarious premise.
Dog, he's a runner, he's a track star, dog. The way he could have been in the league with runs like that.
Shout out to Killer Mike. Run, nigga, run. Shout out to Killer Mike. Yo. Legendary. That was legendary. My boy ran for 13 blocks, crossed 5 streets, dodged 2 cars, got stepped in dog shit, and gone.
And he got charged, and he's facing a year in jail.
Crazy, B. Listen, that whole situation, dog, we got the video. It shouldn't have been what it was, bro. I think a lot of spite was involved in this case. I think a toxic couple. This case is about a toxic couple.
And he said that. He said they were both toxic.
And I believe that. That sounded like accountability to me. For some people who say he didn't take accountability, that sounded a lot like accountability. When he said, I saw the interview, and he said, I was reckless with a heart, not a body. That was, solid.
It's a bar.
Solid. That's a fucking bar, bro. I've been reckless with a few hearts, you feel me? Bar, you know what I mean? I've been a cheater before. So I can put you in a compromising position. And then when those emotions, trying to take your phone and run and shit. Been there. But yeah, I don't think it's as egregious as most people making this all out to be.
I'm trying to figure out why or how they got to the verdict they did, and the verdict is that he was guilty. Forget what the correct terminology is.
Misdemeanor accounts. Yeah, the third degree.
Yeah, but it was essentially causing accidental injury to the other party. He's facing a year up to prison for that, and I think what comes into it is the alleged history of abuse, and I haven't seen any proof that says what's being alleged in the past from previous girlfriends before stardom.
I don't think that had nothing to do with the case. Maybe court of public opinion.
That's one of those
case.
that's one of those things that's difficult when it comes to a jury, right? Especially when a celebrity is up there, because you're told that you can't use your own personal vendettas or whatever, your own opinion. Like, you have to just form your opinion based on what you're hearing here in this courtroom. But it's difficult, and I sometimes I question somebody's capability of being able to properly just judge what you're hearing in the room when the person on stand is somebody that so well from the entertainment industry. You've seen him in movies, you've seen him in shows, you've seen him in interviews, whatever the case may be. Maybe some of them were not even familiar with Jonathan Majors at all, but some of those jury members might have already had an opinion based on what they've heard, right? Yeah. And that could have. I'm not saying it came into play, but it could have.
I mean, that's always a possibility. You got high profile cases. It's always a possibility. Do I think it played a part? I don't know for sure. But what I think would be fair in these kind of cases, and I don't know the jury, I didn't do research on who the jury was. But I think when you got cases like this, you gotta sprinkle in some people of color, man. Like you gotta get some. You gotta. I know it's random, and I know they screen jurors for certain shit. You know what I'm saying? But we need more. We need some diversity, fam. Because anybody with eyes can look at this case and know what it was. You know what I'm saying? This is get back. You gonna leave me, bitch? Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, right now we're talking about the case. We should be talking about the sit down interview. What is your opinion on the things that he said? Like, do you think that he handled the situation well? Do you think he handled answering the questions correctly? Like, what is your feedback? Because I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought like he made everything clear. He answered vulnerably. And that's another situation when it comes to actors. Like I'm already seeing people saying, "Oh, well, we already know he's a good."
Yeah,
he's already. We know he's a good actor. So how do we know any of this is real?
Shut the fuck up.
Actors have real emotions too. It's not all. It's
right.
not all acted.
Right.
Actors are some of the most emotional people you'll ever meet.
Absolutely. I can believe that. There's a lot of mixed up things going on. But I think that was a vulnerable moment. It was real. I feel like this is me judging him, right? I feel like a part of him was like, why are we here? You know what I'm saying? There's a small piece of him still in there, like, why?
Disbelief.
That this actually happened. This is crazy. And then I got to deal with the court of public opinion. I got to deal with the actual court not letting me enter evidence of my fucking injuries and harm. Then I got to deal with getting dropped from all of these things. Now I got to go on an apology to apologize for some shit I ain't do. And then batting down the accusations and being lumped in with some other people who've done egregious things is utter fuck shit when you're a star of his caliber and you have plans. And as a man in general, you don't want to deal with no fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? On any level. You want to live your life, get your bread. And with all of that going on, bro, I saw a man who's trying to get this shit over with, bro. I saw vulnerability. I saw him like just, trying to give his side of the story. And I have no problems with anything he said. Anything, including I need a career, Scott.
We had a conversation about that a couple weeks ago.
Listen.
And I like that he cleared that up because a lot of people had opinions on that. They're like, oh, well, why are you telling? It
wasn't hard to decipher.
I didn't think it was. Like, why are you telling a white woman to be a Michelle Obama or a Coretta King? Yeah, no, it's an analogy. It's an example.
Wear it. If the shoe don't fit, bitch, walk barefoot.
Now the all the leaked audio was like, yeah, no, like it is an understandable conversation to have. Now I don't know all the specifics of their toxic relationship. I know what I've heard. I know what I've read. If you're a entertainer or honestly, let's take it out of entertainment. If you're working towards something, right, and you're going to a higher echelon of something, or if you're trying to grow, you're trying to build, whether that's in entertainment, whether that's trying to become the district manager at Publix, it doesn't matter. Like the people you surround yourself with inside of work, outside of work matters, right? It can affect your day to day. It can affect what you're working towards, and especially in a business where cameras are always on you. So if Jonathan Majors and his girlfriend are going to go to a restaurant, they're going to go to a club, and she wants to wild out, or maybe it's flipped. If he wants to wild out or anything like that, you know what I mean? I don't want to make it a man versus woman thing, because it really is. There's some duality to it. It can happen on both ends, right? Yeah. If you're working towards something, you don't want to be with somebody that can jeopardize it. And I think in that audio, he was stern, and I don't think him vocalizing his feelings is abusive. I don't think he was screaming. He was well spoken in it. He was stern though, and he was saying essentially like, "What are we doing? Like like I need a Michelle Obama, I need a Coretta Scott King, right? And if that's not what you can be, if you want to do this screaming and yelling and fighting, if you want to do all that shit, then it's not going to work. And I think anybody who's ever been in a relationship ever has had a conversation similar to that. Like, I have my boundaries, you have your boundaries for me. If we cannot respect each other's boundaries, what are we doing? And it's a valid thing to say. Now, let's go back to something petty real quick. Was it petty or was it petty not when he pointed out Megan Good and he said, I got my Coretta Scott King now?
Bro, I died. I saw it coming. I saw it coming.
I was praying it was coming.
Bro, it was the perfect alley-oop. It was like the lob from Rondo. Rondo throw great lobs. It's like a and just come get that bitch, windmill that motherfucker, do a 540, turn that bitch around, windmill that bitch again for no reason, tomahawk that bitch, then hang on the rim holding your nuts. That's what that looked like, bro.
Absolutely.
I love that shit, bro. I love that shit because it was petty. And this case is petty. So that was his way of like, bitch, jab back real quick. Like, I got what I was looking for. You feel me? Look, even with that whole saying, with the analogy he used with the Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott thing, warranted, bro. Completely warranted, dog. Like, everybody know what they want. Look, women want a 6 feet. Some women want a 6 foot man that drives a black BMW. You know what I'm saying? You see the specifics some people have. If I plan on doing things that can put me in a light or under a microscope, I don't need any more liabilities than the ones that I'm going to have or encounter anyway. I don't need one from the inner circle, the innermost circle of my heart being a liability. And I don't know if you caught it, but at the beginning of that clip when it was saying, like, you're stumbling in here all drunk, this lady, like, she was sloppy, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently. And if history was able to be established with anything in this case, it was that it's apparent she likes to get fucked up. She liked to get sloppy. She got sloppy on the night that she was in the club, you know what I'm saying, etc. So if that's your norm, or if this is what you're used to doing, and I'm trying to go here and they don't allow that over here as opposed over there, you can't come with me. I don't need you. And there's another thing too. Why would you tell a white woman that she needs to be like Michelle Obama? She's a white woman. If you can't take a hint, that's it. If you can't take a hint, then motherfucker, shut up. That should have been obvious. You know what I mean?
If you can't read the context clues.
If you can't read the context clues, bro, get out of the essay. It's not that hard to realize what he was saying. This ain't working, fam. I think he was this is my honest take. Looking at him as a man, looking at him in the eyes, like, bro, you didn't know how to end that relationship.
He said that.
You didn't know. You didn't have the balls to end it whenever you wanted to end it, because I've been there. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I felt that energy off of him. And that's why I believe that when you say I was reckless with heart, you were. It's obvious.
He verbally said, I did not have the courage to leave that relationship when I should have. Yeah. And that's a real honest and vulnerable thing to say. Like, that's sounds like he's admitting fault to me.
Sounds like accountability to me. Once you find your role you played in the thing, it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Now, one of the questions asked towards the end was, the reporter had asked if he sees himself working in Hollywood again, and he just
egregious question. Now he wanted to say, "Are you kidding me?" Look, he wanted to say, "Bitch, please."
I think it maybe you're saying it's an egregious question. It might be a valid question in cancel culture. You know what I mean?
I don't subscribe to that shit.
I know you don't, but it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. But this life is, and we're learning this as Atlanta turned into Black Hollywood. We learning that Hollywood is a place now, and it's not the end all be all completely. it is the ring is loosened some in this climate and in this day and age. If he was to never go back to box office smash hits, you know where he'll be accepted, especially speaking for me, he can be accepted on every independent film, and he's going to give a masterful performance, or whatever he do is going to be done in excellence. And somebody
And then the Oscar nods and the Golden Globe nods come.
And somebody going to be, not even that, somebody, I'm thinking of corporations, they're going to be missing a bag. You know what I'm saying? These studios, big studios, going to be missing the bag. And we know how powerful people with money, they want more money. So the question itself, I get why you saying that she asked the question, but I say it's egregious for the fact that they're not letting that talent level fall.
I think it'll take time. I think he'll definitely be back. He's too talented and he brings in too much money. We're speaking from a corporation level. Like, I mean, he just has to maneuver in a way that I'm sure he knows how to maneuver. He's a very smart guy. Like, he knows what he's doing. He'll be back. I mean, listen, there's been plenty of actors that have done worse. And
far worse.
They've been back. I mean, Shy is about to make his comeback this summer with Megalopolis. Shy has done a lot of fuck shit, like, you know, and Shy, and I love Shy. I think he's one of the greatest actors of our time. One of the good ones. And that's the thing though. It's like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. had his downfall years ago before Iron Man. And that, I mean, that's a conversation to be had too.
It's a long list.
Robert Downey Jr. was able to make a comeback, but is it because it was his fall from grace was in regards to drugs and alcohol, and not beating women? I don't believe Jonathan Majors beat women. But that's just the conversation that could be had. Like, Robert Downey Jr. was able to come back, but was it because it was just drugs and he's clean now? Like, how do you change this narrative surrounding?
Now, I don't believe he'll be
harm women.
I don't think he'll be able to just jump back to business. And I think it's going to be a hard track to climb, because he is look, man, he's a minority in the game that's power based, and you gotta, you know, do something to get ahead. You gotta give a little to get a little. And I think he's going to give with certain roles, and he's going to be subservient of a little bit. But I think he'll be back. The talent is too powerful. And, you know, we've seen on many occasions, like the number of people you just mentioned, all white, come back. The only pushback I would have is like, man, why my boy Wesley had to come back at the bottom of the totem pole? You know what I mean? Like, and that was just on some that shit. You know what I mean? So we've seen egregious things happen to people. You know,
I want Wesley back on top.
It's amazing. He's still very talented. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfair, and I think it'll take some time. And but I think it's okay to point out.
I think Will Smith's plotted comeback was very smart when he's coming back with sequels to movies that people love and adore. Like, we're not going to miss a Bad Boys 4. So do you think Michael B. Jordan calls him and puts him back in Creed, puts him in Creed 4, gives him a spinoff of his character? Just like, you know, do you think his people takes care of him to help him? Like, when the major studios aren't going to give you the opportunity, when Disney and Marvel drops you, can Michael B. Jordan and MGM give you another opportunity?
That's a dangerous conversation to have. And it's a dangerous conversation to have with a white dude, to be honest with you, because I have to get into some shit. I have to talk about the concept of the house nigga. You're going to have some that throw opportunities, but it be the ones sometimes in powerful positions to help you out, to get you back on track, that do not want to do it. And we know money is involved as to why. People don't want to risk their livelihood, risk a project maybe, or, you know, on you who's in a bad light. But I pray that somebody with a brain and some balls step through. You know what I'm saying? That looks like
I'd like to see Jonathan Majors establish his own independent studio and build his own shit.
I don't think he's there yet. Like, he was a rising star, but I don't think he's there yet.
I think he could do it.
Yeah,
I think he could do it.
Yeah, he could do it. Absolutely could. Does he aspire for that type of stuff though? That's the question.
So you know me as an entertainer. I'm not one to wait for a door to be open for me. No, I'm gonna create my own opportunities, and I think if push comes to shove and Jonathan Majors isn't getting the opportunities he wants, deserves, whatever the case may
They're gonna
be,
make it happen.
he might be like fuck it, I'll do it myself.
We might see my boy on Broadway.
Hey, you know me. I love me some Broadway.
Whatever, man. Get the bag. Get the motherfucking bag.
Not much of the bag to be made from Broadway, but sure.
Hey, however you get the bag, you get the bag. You understand me? I don't care if you got to do 3 shows a day. I don't give a fuck to get the bag.
Yo, on a lighter note, I got a question. Ja Morant came back how many games ago?
Yeah, about 10, 15, right?
And he's out with a season-ending
torn labrum.
He's going to need surgery out for the season. That sucks. Yeah. I saw that. I was like, no fucking way.
He was getting them on track too. Bro was hooping. Ja Morant was hooping, doing his thing. I think his shot is going to be questionable coming back. His recovery is going to be key to his future. You shoulder and shooting, like, bro, you got to get your stroke back. You have to, we saw a lot of people. For sure. We saw a lot of people. We saw a lot of people struck with Markelle Fultz, the ball brothers, interesting forms. But because when you're shooting one way for a long time, man, and you happen to have this kind of issue and it can hamper what you have to relearn. Now, he's athletic enough to where that don't matter. He can just drive that bitch every time he wants. You know what I'm saying? Up his cardio and just get busy. Like Russell Westbrook or they ass. Fuck it, But you're going to need that shot. And we'll see how the recovery play out. But it's going to be crazy because it was just coming on a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Ja Morant, we wish you smooth surgery, smooth recovery. Yeah. And we can't wait to see you back hooping.
Rest up, soldier.
Yeah, man. So this was episode 1. How you feel about it?
Hey, man.
Give the audience. Let's have it. Let's let the audience hear our feedback on ourselves.
We back, man. Shout out to my brothers who I've worked with in the past. For the Wave Report, the Young and Dirty podcast. Sorry I went on a long ass hiatus, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Gas Marley, aka Young One Jonah, aka these nuts. Yeah, man. I feel like we got something, you know what I'm saying, to say on a lot of different things. Our conversations are funny as fuck. This is only, supposed to happen.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming, bro. We've been talking about it for a long time. Every time we we're together, every time we hop on the phone is a podcast. That's it is always a podcast. It's always like we'll be 2 hours into a conversation. Damn, we should have had a mic set up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
every
finally we're here. Yeah, finally we're here, and we got the podcast coming. We got a little movie or something like that, in works too. But
yeah, we still working. Everything's everything. Shout out to everybody's support. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We bite. Let me use my Tampa vernacular. We bite. We bite, baby. We bite. You better know how to bite, because we bite. Yeah, just like that.
You guys just went full Juke City in here.
Juke City in here, bitch. Bring the cowbell. Where's the cowbell? I need cowbell.